Now, a question that I've been asked so many times, and a debate, and something that has been running rampant through the Dragon Ball franchise for years now, even going back to the DBZ days, but definitely more so since the introduction of the Saiyans of Universe 6, have been what's going on? How are they turning Super Saiyan? How do people turn Super Saiyan in general? Why the Universe 6 warriors are turning into it so quickly? What's going on here? And the man, the legend, the myth himself, Akira Toriyama, aka Toribot, answered the very, very big question that even as a kid, I'm sure you went like this, trying to go Super Saiyan. Well, you couldn't go Super Saiyan, and he explains why. It's apparently something to do with S-Cell, and we'll read it in a second, but I'm glad that this came out, because this is going to be something that shuts down a lot, and I mean a lot, of the arguments and debates and people calling bullshit on Dragon Ball Super for this particular reason, because even though it's not in the series yet, which it could eventually be implemented into the series, there's a reason why the Universe 6 Warriors are turning into these transformations so very quickly, opposed to what Goku and Vegeta, you know, they struggled. Vegeta, he had to go through a living nightmare to get Super Saiyan. Goku had to see his best friend explode before his eyes. Gohan had to train like an animal in the hyperbolic time chamber. These people, they get a tingly back sensation, and it's like, whoa, but there's a reason for that, and honestly, I'm glad. So let's read it, and we'll talk some more. They asked Toriyama, can anyone become a Super Saiyan as long as they train? And he responded with, not everyone can become a Super Saiyan, even if they use anger and training. To become a Super Saiyan, S cells, which is more than likely standing for Saiyan cells, I'd imagine, in their body are required. When these S cells reach a certain amount, one can use anger as a trigger to increase the S cells in their body and transform into a Super Saiyan. Although almost every Saiyan have S cells in their body, most just don't have enough. So essentially, there's some people that, like for example, Pan and GT, that could be a good reason why she never went into Super Saiyan. She just didn't have enough S cells, you know what I'm saying? So interesting stuff there. Also with Vegeta's brother, for example, and anybody else that never really went Super Saiyan, that's the reason. But let's continue. The reason Goten and Trunks were able to transform into a Super Saiyan relatively easily is because they inherited enough S cells from their father. Also, the environment of planet Earth, which is calmer than planet Vegeta, helped them. So a lot of the speculation throughout the years of Goku and Vegeta, and it's probably, again, it didn't say exactly, but you can kind of assume because Goku and Vegeta were so, you know, strong, and they had so many S cells in their body, when they created Goten and Trunks, they were born with a lot of them in there, so they didn't have to go through a living nightmare in order to reach Super Saiyan status, you know what I'm saying? They got it fairly easily because of what we all thought for years. Goku and Vegeta already had a shit ton of S cells. Well, we thought because they were strong, which kind of is somewhat the same thing in a way, because S cells, the more you have in there, the more you can quickly become into Super Saiyan. So that's interesting. And also, though, something that caught me off guard in that, and there's still more to read, but something that caught me off guard in that is that the calm planet Earth is way more calmer than planet Vegeta. I'm kind of curious, so does nature and nurturing have a lot to do with your ability to go into Super Saiyan? So if you live in a good world, or you live a good life, you can more easily go into Super Saiyan? Kind of interesting. Let's keep reading. Toribot pointing at the arrow. How to increase these S cells, which are important to gain the Super Saiyan transformation? Having a gentle heart is the best way to increase S cells in one's body, but most Saiyans are not good at that. That's why most Saiyans were not able to achieve the necessary S cells, resulting in Super Saiyans not appearing for a long time and becoming a long lost legend. There's still more, but hold on, people. So essentially, this is why Goku was able to do it, because Goku, we know he is a pure guy. I mean, look, he could ride the Quinton, the Nimbus, you know what I'm saying? Nobody else could do that shit. Master Roshi falls straight through that because he's thinking about porn and shit, you know what I'm saying? So that's a great explanation as to what happened. Now, Vegeta, because he doesn't necessarily have a good heart, like, well, no, he has a good heart now. Let me explain what I'm talking about. At the time that he became a Super Saiyan, I think maybe you could throw the argument in there. He had a more calm or a better heart than he had when he first came to Earth, for example, because at that point, he had kind of been a little bit humbled by Goku kicking his ass, and he kind of changed a little bit, not completely. He was still an asshole, but he definitely wasn't the same exact murderer, killer, and terrorist that he was when he first came to Earth with Nappa, you know, in the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, or towards the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, whatever. So that's probably what could explain, and that also explains probably why Vegeta had to go through a living nightmare to get those S cells up in order to go Super Saiyan. If you think about it, it makes sense, because he was a piece of shit, so he had to really muster everything in his body to get there. Interesting stuff. And then also it makes sense why none of the Saiyans on Vegeta, like when we saw the Bardock the Father of Goku special, why none of them were able to do it, because they were all assholes. You see them in the bar when Bardock goes to get help from them, and none of them want to help him. And it also explains why, even though it's not really canon or whatever, but in the Bardock, the new Bardock special that came out a couple years back, where Bardock got sent back in time and he was able to go Super Saiyan, because at that point Bardock had a slight change of heart, and he was trying to protect that guy, and again, that's rare for Saiyans. So if Bardock was already a really strong dude and he had a bunch of S cells, and then he had a change of heart to be a nice guy trying to protect these weak people, then that definitely helped him to go Super Saiyan. Like, this is a great explanation that really crosses everything for a lot of people, including myself. Sometimes I'm like, this is BS with Dragon Ball Super. This explanation, I don't know if Toriyama really thought it out, but it just clears up so many things and makes so much sense. Furthermore, they also need to achieve a certain amount of power level for the transformation. With all things considered, you can see why Goku was able to transform into a Super Saiyan. Now, finishing off that one, it clearly explains why Kale, Caulifla, and Kaba were able to do it. Because one, they lived in a peaceful world. They weren't with an overlord tyrant like Frieza breathing down their necks, making them do horrible things. They were good people. I mean, Caulifla, you could argue, hey, she was a bit of like a thug or whatever, but that doesn't mean that she was like a horrible person that was murdering people, right? The Saiyans are good people, so clearly explains why the Universe 6 Saiyans are able to achieve these forms or whatever, because they lived in a good environment. They were strong enough. They didn't have Frieza oppressing them to not become stronger. They were strong enough. Everything makes sense, and they're good people, you know what I'm saying? Like, good people, good environment, and strong enough. That makes sense. Like, this was amazing. I'm shocked, but then again, it's Toriyama. He's like, what would be the term? Is it idiot savant? Like, this dude, he comes across as like he doesn't know anything and he's just a jokester, whatever. But look, I mean, the man made Dragon Ball Z, the most popular anime in the world, you know what I'm saying? So there's a little bit more to that. I honestly think after reading all that and reading some of these questionnaires, that Toriyama, he plays dumb, but this man is really smart, because this just cleared up a ton of shit in the Dragon Ball franchise right now about Super Saiyans. But there's a little bit more I want to read off, kind of talking about Saiyans and their battle and whatnot. So let's just quickly read this as well. Do all Saiyans become combatants? A baby's battle power is measured as soon as they are born. If their number passes a certain standard, then they are considered upper level warriors and immediately raised as a combatant candidate. On the other hand, those whose numbers remain low even after a certain amount of time has passed are regarded as low level warriors, similar to Goku, and become either engineers or infiltration babies that are sent off to a planet somewhere. Exactly what happened to Goku. If they grow strong enough to conquer that planet, then they can return to their home world as a combatant. However, infiltration babies do not have a high survival rate. Raditz was an upper level warrior and assigned to the same group as Nappa as a proper combatant. Vegeta was later added to that group too. So essentially, it's kind of more or less what we already know. Hey, if you're a weakling, they send you off to go conquer planets. If you can manage to conquer that planet, then hey, you could come back and be a warrior for planet Vegeta. I didn't agree with them saying that Raditz was an upper level, but then again, what was left? But no, they had to have been a team already at that particular point, because it's weird. Raditz was only a 1200. Nappa was what? Was it 8,000 or 16,000? I don't remember. No, I think it was 8,000, right? Or 9, something like that, because the numbers with the over 9,000 joke kind of throws me off. But Nappa was around there, and then Vegeta was what, 18,000? Like, huge gap from 1,200 to 18,000. Why the hell would he be on Vegeta's team? I don't know. That doesn't really make much sense. But honestly, the stuff regarding why people can become Super Saiyans and how it happens and shit like that, really good stuff. Toriyama, for a man that seemingly comes in and doesn't understand human interaction, it seems at times, the way he jokes around, he's a genius. He honestly really is. He just plays it off really well that he's a clown or whatever. So really cool stuff. Kind of curious what you guys think about this though. For starters, does this completely put to rest the debate and the, accusations of Dragon Ball Super just being straight BS, now that we know how one becomes a Super Saiyan with the S cells? And what is your overall thoughts on all of this? Do you think that Toriyama just comes up with this shit and he's really lucky, or he really plans this shit out? This honestly seems like he really planned it out. That's just my opinion. Your overall thoughts of all this? Cool to see Toriyama coming in and giving us a little bit of the answers that we've been looking for for many years. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and do a little stalking on my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember, anime and manga for life. Bow. Have an awesome day.